If you're in the market shopping for an off-road trailer, then chances are the Smittybilt Scout is at least on your radar. And so in today's video, I'm going to do my best at giving you an unbiased owner review on the Smittybilt Scout trailer. Now, just a couple things I want to mention up front. First off, I bought this and paid for this trailer with my own hard-earned money, so this video is not sponsored by the manufacturer. And secondly, this is actually, believe it or not, a 2017. That's actually what's on the VIN sticker right here. Now, I bought it secondhand about a year ago. And so obviously today the year is 2024. And so that makes this a little over 6 years old. So just keep that in mind throughout the video. And then thirdly, you probably already know this, but these Smittybilt Scout trailers, they are intended to be highly customized and personalized by the owner, depending on your camping style and the way that you plan to use it. And so when I bought this trailer secondhand from the previous owner, he hadn't really done a lot of permanent customizations to it. And so it was fairly easy for me to kind of restore it, return it to what it would have been like, originally coming out of the factory. And then that's when I spent really the better part of a month or so customizing it and doing all the different things. Today's video is not going to be featuring all those, by the way. If you're interested in that, I did a video, kind of a tour, going through all the different mods on this particular trailer almost a year ago now. And so I'll put a card up for that if you're interested, but you are going to see some of those things in the video today. And just make sure you understand that those things don't actually come with the Scout trailer. So really the point of today's video is if you're in the market, you're shopping for an off-road camping trailer or something similar, and you're considering the Smittybilt Scout trailer, you might be wondering, well, is it the right trailer for you? And so my goal is, as an owner, just to tell you what has it been like using it over the last year, and that way you can decide if it's right for you. So first thing I want to talk about is quality, right? I think that's probably one of the first things that came to my mind when I was considering purchasing this is the Smittybilt Scout trailer a good quality product? Because, and again, I'm just an owner, I'm not affiliated with the manufacturer, but when I think about Smittybilt, I'm very familiar with them. They make a lot of different accessories for Jeeps, of course. And when I think Smittybilt, I don't necessarily think, top of the line or the most premium, best products out there. It's more of a, value-based product. And, with that value comes some compromises naturally. And so when you're spending, maybe $1,000 or I don't know, $750 on a winch, that's one thing, right, for your Jeep. But when you're spending, 10 grand or more for a trailer, your factors might be just a little bit different right there in your concerns and criteria there. So let's talk about quality. How, well is this trailer built? Basically when I modified it, I went through pretty much everything from the tip here on the tongue all the way to the back, underneath, up top, inside all the compartments. It's a very heavily modified Scout trailer. And so I pretty much saw everything, how it was put together, the craftsmanship. Of course, you get this in parts. If you order it, then you have to assemble it. But the major components are already, welded together. So it's just bolting things together more or less. So I got a really good sense of how well the trailer was put together and designed. And then, of course, like I said before, this is actually technically a 2017 model year, late 2017. So it's over 6 years old. And so we'll talk about that more later. But in terms of quality, going back to Smittybilt, I would say that this happens to be one of their products that they put a lot more engineering and thought into. And so to answer that question on the quality front, I would say this is significantly higher in terms of quality compared to what I would expect out of Smittybilt typically. And I don't mean that as a knock against the brand or anything like that. I really haven't owned a lot of Smittybilt products, so that's probably a little bit unfair for me to say, but just, I guess what I've heard out there from other people that have owned other Smittybilt products. But, when it comes to the Scout trailer within the overall Smittybilt product lineup, I would say after using this trailer that I think it's one of their more premium offerings overall. I mean, it just seems like they put a lot of thought into it, a lot of engineering into it, especially in terms of delivering something that's quality at a price point that most of us can afford, right? Because when you're shopping off-road trailers, I mean, there's all sorts of different price points, right? You can go upwards of 40, 50 grand for something that's in this same size, this same form factor, you know, so you could spend 4 times as much, and are you getting 4 times the quality or 4 times the features, right? And so my overall consensus after owning this trailer and working on it and seeing everything is that it's actually really surprised me in terms of the quality. And, you know, basically it's just steel. It's steel all the way throughout. But they've got a really nice coating on that steel. And again, this is 6 years old. I'll try to give you some close-ups so you can see what the finish looks like after 6 years. You know, the previous owner, I think he kept it garaged when it wasn't in use. And then, you know, I've had it under this covered area for most of its life, but it sat out for a good, probably 6 months or so when I first got it. And I mean, you can see, look here in the sunlight, it's got some scratches, you know, some wear and tear on top, but I mean, look at this sheen. It's got a really nice sheen still. So whatever paint or coating rather that they're using on the steel, it's held up really well. I mean, I did just wash it yesterday, but you know, I back up from it a little bit and give you a full view. It doesn't look like a 6-year-old trailer. And so in terms of quality, again, I think that this is one of their better offerings. And especially for the price point, I think you're getting a lot of quality at what they're charging for the Scout trailer. So those are my thoughts on quality. You know, that was a really big question for me. And full disclosure, I'm not an engineer, but as I look at the frame, the thickness, the layout and design of all the core pieces, it just seems like they used the right thickness of steel. They put reinforcing pieces where it was needed. And it just seems like it's a very robust design overall. The core design of the Scout trailer is very well done, and it just gives you then a lot of flexibility for you to customize and personalize to your camping style. All right, well, next let me try to do a fairly quick walk around on the trailer and just point out major likes and dislikes on the trailer. Again, you're going to see a lot of third-party, you know, aftermarket equipment on the trailer, so I'm not talking about that today, just really the core part of the Scout trailer. So let's start up front here. I like the tongue jack, the way it rotates out of the way. I think that's very functional. And then I do like how they give you the option to pick what kind of coupler you want to use on the front of the trailer. That's really handy there. And the e-brake I think is very useful because, you know, in situations when you're camping off-road, you can, instead of having to worry about chocks, just engage that e-brake. So I really think that's a nice feature. And then, you know, on the tongue box and all the other compartments, they've got decent weather stripping that for me, I haven't encountered issues with water getting in. So I really like that a lot. And there's just some details like putting a strut here on this lid. They didn't have to do that, right? But it's part of the core Scout build there. So really nice. I like how this platform is right here so you can step up on here. It just makes it really easy when you're working on the rooftop tent, and just really easy there the way they designed that. And then, you know, overall, I like the concept with the Scout trailer in that they intended some of these compartments to be used a certain way. Like this one originally was a generator compartment, but there's flexibility in the design, the way they designed it, that you can use them for other things. Like in this case, I turned it into a lithium power station area. So I do like that a lot too, that the panels the compartments rather, are versatile and you can configure the way you want. I really like the appearance of the fenders on each side. I think it gives a really nice aggressive stance. One thing I will say about these is they're pretty sturdy, but I don't know that I would bear my full weight and use them as a step, you know, going up. So typically if I need to go up, I'll just stand on top of the tire. So that's one thing that, you know, if I had a dislike, I would say that maybe these fenders could be beefed up in a future iteration to support, you know, someone like myself north of 200 pounds. And, you know, they'd be rock solid and wouldn't have to worry about bending or flexing at all. I really like how they paid attention to essentials like these little eyelets on the side there to tie things down. I use that for my awning there. You get 4 of those on each side. I really like the roof rack there. It's just versatile, you know, basic, well designed. And I think it was really smart the way they designed this to be open on the ends so that you can then extend up with an awning like I've done in this case. And actually, This is something that I fabricated just with parts that are readily available at the home center, and they're just painted it black. So, you know, they use standard sizes for these tubes. It's just basically steel tubes, and so it just makes it really easy again to personalize. I mean, I was able to find all these parts at my local home center for maybe under 50 bucks and be able to then fabricate it and work with this awning here. So I really like that a lot there. If I was to complain about one thing, and this is probably be one of the more major complaints on the trailer, it would be back here, and that is the hinge on this back door. You know, the hinges, I believe they're the same on all the other two doors, but you know, the other two doors are a lot smaller. And this door is probably 3 times as wide, and it looks to me that they're using the same hinge. And I say all that because you can see here, there's a good bit of flex there. In fact, they have a warning sticker there that says, "Do not lean on the door when it's open." And, you know, I haven't had any problems with the door bending or anything like that or drooping, but it just seems like with everything else they've got going on and the thickness of steel they use and just how everything else is fairly robust, I think they could improve the hinges here and go with something that's a little bit beefier and more sturdy. Going inside, I really do like how they give you the slides, the drawers here on both sides. I mean, that's something they could have easily skipped, but I think just about everybody who buys one of these trailers is going to be using them. And so it's nice that that's part of the overall trailer build. It's really neat that they give you this little 2-inch receiver down there for accessories, that they give you the recovery points here. You can actually stand on these to get up to the top if you need to. And so that's just another kind of dual function right there. I like the handles here. You know, these are just basic T-handles, but look how well they've held up. This is 6 years old and there's no oxidation whatsoever there. Of course, you've probably seen the suspension before. I'll try to give you some close-up views of that just in case you haven't before, but it's very robust. This is probably one of the smoothest riding trailers that that I've ever pulled before. So yeah, I mean, I think those are my major likes and dislikes. You know, I talked about having the fenders beefed up a little bit. If that wasn't done, I could see maybe putting a small something to step on kind of right in this vicinity right here that wouldn't get in the way. You know, maybe that's being a little bit picky there. I mean, at the end of the day, I think what makes the Scout trailer so appealing is that there's an incredible value proposition. You get a very solid, a very well-built shell, and then you can take that and customize it and personalize it on your own budget, on your own time. And you can get that shell for a very affordable price that, you know, most of us can afford. And so I think that's what makes the Scout trailer so appealing. Now, going back to that question on quality, because I know that was a concern that I had. I mean, there is nothing that I would describe on this trailer as being cheaply put together or poorly made. Well, I guess other than the hinges that I complained about on this back door. Other than those hinges, it seems to be a very solid, well-built trailer. And so I think you're getting a lot of quality, especially at the price point. All right, well, let me close out the video by answering the question, would I buy it all over again? And the answer is a resounding yes. Not only that, but I would have no reservations recommending the Scout trailer to others to purchase as well. And you know, it's just a really fun trailer. I think a lot of it is the fun that goes into it when you get to customize and personalize it, you know, put your own sweat into the trailer. And but then there's the fun of taking it out. I mean, my kids have thoroughly enjoyed taking this trailer out into the wilderness, being off the grid and just enjoying the great outdoors. And so I think it's just a really great value, a lot of fun. In fact, if I were ever to sell this trailer, it would not be because I determined it was cheaply made or poorly made or anything like that. It would just be because I decided I wanted to try something else. You know, sometimes it's fun to try other things. So I say all that because I really do think this is a great value and it's a lot of fun. Well, anyways, I hope this video is helpful. If you have any questions, definitely drop me comments below. And as always, thanks for watching.